Morning all, Phil here from Connects Health, following on with this week's topic, ergonomics. Now we're looking at what we call the desk jockey slouch, which is when you're hunched over your desk like a jockey. As it's more correctly known in the industry, is the kyphotic lordotic posture. Now it doesn't affect everybody, and it doesn't affect everybody in the same way, but we just keep on seeing it over and over in people who sit down for most of their day. So mostly office workers, people who have travelled in the car on the way to the office, sit for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, car on the way home, and then plonk yourselves down in front of the telly. We start to see this posture more often than not. So what happens is, we're sitting at our desk, our hip flexors are constantly shortened, our glutes aren't switched on, our abs, our core, our pelvic floor, they're all not engaged the way they should be. So what happens is we start to get an anterior tilt of the pelvis. So this is what our spine should look like normally. As the hip flexors start to tighten up, glutes aren't working, core's not working, our pelvis starts to tilt forward. Gives us a hollowing in our lower back, or a lordosis. As well, what happens is we're sitting at our desk, we're typing, using the mouse, dialing on the phone, drawing, whatever the case may be. Our arms are always extended, so our pecs are constantly switched on. So they start to fatigue and they start to shorten up. Same thing happens to our internal shoulder rotators, and our shoulders start to move in. The muscles in our upper back aren't switched on properly, so our shoulder blades start to drift forward and out. Our head comes forward and it gives us a rounding through the upper back. Now, here's one that I prepared earlier, and this is a classic kyphotic lordotic posture. So we see the hips are tilted forward, we've got that hollowing through the lower back, the rounding through the upper back, and we've got that forward head tilt up here. So this is such a common posture in people that sit down all the time. Like I said, not everybody, but it's happening more and more and more. And also constantly on our phones, we're starting to see kids with kyphotic lordotic posture, which was never a thing before, because constantly the head's down like this. Next week, we're going to start looking at some ways to fix it. We're going to go more in depth with it, but the number one way to fix it is move. Our muscles are built to stretch and shorten and tear and repair themselves constantly. When we're sitting down, they're in the exact same positions for a lot of the day. So the number one thing is get up, move often, and move well. Next week, we're going to look at how exactly to fix it. So stay tuned, but for this week, guys, get up and move.